Hello, everyone. My name is Dilpreet Sahota. I'm CEO and co-founder here at Trek Health. We are a organization based here in Silicon Valley and started off actually as a revenue cycle management business supporting outpatient groups across the country in the behavioral health space, urgent care, ambulatory surgery centers. And as the health plan price transparency rule went into effect as a software company back in 2022, we saw this going into effect and we noticed that one of the common questions that we get asked all the time is specifically about reimbursement and how much my competitors are getting paid. And if I'm actually going to agree to this contract with United Healthcare or Aetna, how do I know that this is a fair contract? And theoretically, these payer transparency rules that have been put into effect in the marketplace by CMS are supposed to allow us to access this information quickly, but the payers have really done a very good job at making this extremely difficult to access. So United Healthcare, as an example, has over 45,000 table of content files that are over 1 terabyte each. So we wouldn't even be able to open a single table of content file on our local machines. And that's what the payers are doing to make it impossible for providers to use this valuable information to actually extract insight from it. And that's where Trek Health steps in. So as a software company, we pivoted effectively from only doing RCM to actually becoming a data plus RCM company so that we can support groups with this payer transparency tool. And what I do here is I can basically query on any payer table across the country. We have over 45 payers that we've ingested data for, including regional BCBS groups as well as national payers. And I'm going to go ahead and use United Healthcare as an example here. I can select a state or a combination of states where I might be interested in pulling data. Let's say I want to look for data in California as an example, just because I happen to be based out here. I can look specifically for providers in a specific city if I'd like to search. Let's say I want to maybe see data for providers in San Jose, California. I can then from the dropdown select a billing code to look for rates for. Our data includes all common CPT codes, HCPCS codes, as well as any and all revenue codes and custom codes that payers might have on file for contracts that are maybe more custom or value-based arrangements. And from here, we have a few other filters that we can use to fine-tune the data. I can select a entity type. Maybe I want to see physician level data, or maybe I want to see group level data. I can also use the taxonomy code field if I'd like, if I wanted to specifically search for gastroenterologists, or if I wanted to specifically search for a specific surgeon type, I could use their taxonomy to find data for the specific entity. But let me just go and run this query as an example. And once this runs, we're querying off of 500 billion records. It might take 10 to 15 seconds to load. But once it runs, what we'll see here is a breakdown of all the pricing data, all the payer transparency data for that specific market. So in this case, San Jose, California. And for this specific billing code, 99214, that's a common office visit code that providers get paid out for. At I think it's the 15 to 30 minute level. And so we'll see first off, looking at the raw data, we have the provider's billing code, we have a negotiated rate. So as an example, we have some super high rates here getting reported for some of these providers at as high as $591.20 for 99214. This is a rate that likely, if we were to look into these providers, it's probably associated with a large health system. So we have, as I go through this data, over 2,500 records of providers just in San Jose, California, as an example. And I could go and I could flip through and I could edit this to Aetna, and I could go ahead and rerun this in Aetna. And maybe I want to look for providers in San Francisco for Aetna instead of San Jose United Healthcare. This is really a self-serve tool that we've created to allow providers to solve the questions that they might have off the top of their head. If I'm specifically looking for a competitive entity, I could actually insert a provider's NPI number here. And we have something called the intelligent NPI search, which can allow us to take a single NPI number for either an entity or a provider, and we'll go find the full provider roster associated to that group and show you all those records. So, Octave Behavioral Health, for example, is the highest paid provider with Aetna in San Francisco, California. And if I wanted to see Octave Behavioral Health's full provider roster rates here, I could just use their NPI number, and I will not only see the Octave group rates, but I'll also see all of the individual provider rates if that's being reported by the payer. And in this case, this is just, I guess Aetna seems to be reporting just group level data for this particular code for this particular entity, but With that, that's really our payer transparency tool in a nutshell. As you all see here today, the goal really is to empower provider groups and healthcare organizations across the country to use this data that's newly been made available and actually put it to use, whether that's negotiating with payers in your next renegotiation cycle, whether that's expanding into a new market and gaining insights before you do so, or maybe strategically comparing yourself to some of the other competitors in the market that you want to put yourself up against as you negotiate with payers. There's a variety of use cases here, and as we embark on this conference, if you're interested in partnering with us to explore how this product might be useful for your organization, please stop by. We have a location here, and we'd love to chat.